Hello and welcome back to Thinking About Star Realms. In this video, we're going to be playing Chapter 2, Mission 6 of the campaign. As always, if you have any strategy tips or think I made the wrong decision at any point, please put it in the comments. So, this mission continues the series of missions where the AI starts there with a one-cost card in their deck. This finishes off the cycle with the Blob Fighter. And since the Blob Fighter is not a very solid card early game, the AI also had both a Scout and Viper cut, so that it does get some advantage. So, we have a couple different ways to go. If we want to deny our opponent the Blob synergy, taking the Blob Fighter and Trade Pod away is a good thing. Supply Bot is also great early game because, you know, it's 2 trade and a scrap, but that Blob Fighter circling around, especially if the AI picks up a second Blob Fighter, is going to speed up the game to a point where just scrap is not going to be that solid. So that Trade Pod and Blob Fighter buy seems to be the right way to go, especially because the Trade Pod can then go into like a Missile Mech or the Port of Call. Now we can choose between the Federation Shuttle and the Blob Fighter. The Fed Shuttle is acceptable early game if you have something really big that you're trying to save up for, but I don't see the Missile Mech as that important. And I mean, it's also good if you have other trade fed cards to ally it with, because the 4 authority isn't bad, but again, no trade fed in our deck so far, so Blob Fighter. Blob Wheel is quite a good pickup if we go for the Blob Rush, which our opponent is. Here, we can either go Explore, which, no. That's not a very good thing to go for, because just Space Station is strictly better since you get all 4 trade at once from it. So yeah, Space Station is a solid pickup. Supply Bot if we still want to try to go for that, the scrap strategy. But I do like the Space Station, just because we can scrap it for trade when we want to make a big purchase, and otherwise it's low but some damage, and it is acceptable quality outpost, so grab that. You know, maybe we can upgrade that into a Royal Readout down the line, we'll see. Okay, Supply Bot, Missile Bot, meaning our opponent does have a decent scrap core, so going a bit more aggressive is probably to our advantage. And the Cutter is going the opposite way, but it's just such a solid all-around card that I'm still gonna get it. Now do I take the Imperial Fighter here? There's a non-trivial chance that we'll be able to pick up something good in this deck, so I don't mind diluting my trade in favor of just low but effective-ish damage off the Imperial Fighter. Maybe we can grab the Royal Readout and have something, because again, blah, scrap advantage. So I'm gonna get the Fighter. And I feel like just taking the Trade Bot out of spite, because having 3 scrap cards is gonna be pretty good for our opponent. But yeah, the one trade that it provides means that, you know, until we go through our deck like twice, it will be a liability. But, you know, Okay, I'm not taking the World Redoubt. Hell yeah, Dreadnought. Thick ass ship. Okay, yeah, I took the freighter, which I think is a misplay because, you know, game is speeding up already. So that freighter is not that good. As I said, freighter's not that good when we're delivering hits this big. Royal Redoubt or Missile Mech? Huh. Our opponent doesn't have big bases yet, but probably will when it picks up the Port of Call or Royal Redoubt. And Royal Redoubt's good when we have the Imperial Fighter out, when we have the Dreadnought, it's not bad, but those are just two ships in our deck, while the Missile Mech will ally well with the Missile Bot and Supply Bot, so let's grab that. I'm just going to leave the Blob Wheel up. It's going to enable a draw off the Blob Fighter. That's going to enable the AI to buy something, but that one draw is not worth 5 damage, 5 authority. And, you know, with the freighter, we're not really denying our opponent's ability to buy anyway, so let's just do more damage. Picks up the Port of Call, the Blob Fighter. Now, I wish I could grab the mothership, but let's get the Blob Destroyer. And here, maybe I wish we destroyed the Blob Wheel because, you know, mothership is nice, and they just want to pass their freighter. But not really crying over that. Yeah, the battle mech. I do like the cutter pickup because, again, our opponent does have a small commitment to trade fed, and I don't want that to, like, 4 damage hitting us, and, you know, 4 authority and rarely 4 damage is not the worst thing ever. So 2 scouts to get the cutter. Scrapping the scout because there's nothing I want to buy for 2. I do like destroying the Blob Wheel here just because, you know, with the Blob Carrier and Mothership, yes, and we can pick up 1 off of the freighter, maybe a 2nd off the Port of Call, but I want to minimize how many big ships it can buy. Still get some mothership, but we'll be able to get the Blob Carrier. Yeah, I'll take a 2nd Imperial Fighter, just because at this point, you know, with health as low as it's going to be, that extra damage isn't going to be good, and if our opponent is going to be thinning with the Missile Bot, Battle Mech, and Supply Bot, those discards are going to hurt more. Battle Pod is obviously a very good buy at this point in the game. Once again, we're lucky enough that the Dreadnought paired with the Imperial Fighter, and this might actually be fatal. Let's see. Yep, it is. So yeah. What's the approach to winning this mission? Realize that don't go for a very slow strategy. Go for, something splitting the difference between aggression and trade. I think that is what you want to do. Because, if you go too trade heavy, the AI can just pick up all the damage cards and murder you. But if you go too aggressive, you might leave some solid trade cards up for your opponent, so that it can use the fact that it starts with a slower deck than you to pick up a little bit of trade and beat you up over the head with anything big that comes out in the trade row. But if you kind of get key cards out of for both strategy, try to get some key cards for both strategies and try to have some amount of synergy, I think you can win. Anyways, thanks very much for watching. If you see a play I missed, put it in the comments. If you like the contents I produce or think that you can do better, record your own. Bye.